Here's the paradox nobody warns you about. 68% of people with anxiety report being less productive, yet the most anxious people often achieve the most if they have the right systems. Without structure, your anxious brain becomes a tornado of competing thoughts, half-finished tasks, and decision paralysis. The difference between anxiety that paralyzes and anxiety that propels comes down to one thing: systems that work with your brain, not against it. Today, I'm breaking down the exact productivity systems that transform anxious overthinking into focused execution. This isn't generic time management advice. This is specifically designed for minds that spiral, catastrophize, and feel overwhelmed by their own mental noise. We're covering why traditional productivity fails anxious brains, 5 non-negotiable systems that create clarity, and how to implement them starting today. If you want more strategies for working smarter despite anxiety, subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Let's build your system. Why anxious brains struggle with productivity. Here's what's happening when anxiety destroys productivity. Your prefrontal cortex gets hijacked by your amygdala, screaming about threats that don't exist. You sit down to work, and suddenly your brain offers 17 competing priorities, none clearly more important than the others, so you freeze. Or you switch between tasks every 3 minutes. Research shows that 56% of people with anxiety report procrastination as a major symptom. But it's not laziness. It's decision paralysis combined with perfectionism and fear of starting something you might not finish perfectly. Traditional advice says just prioritize or focus on one thing. That's useless when your anxious brain believes everything is urgent and nothing is optional. You don't need better advice, you need better systems. System 1, the brain dump and single priority rule. Anxious minds operate in constant emergency mode. Everything feels critical. This overwhelm isn't solved by working harder, it's solved by ruthless clarity. Every morning, do a complete brain dump. Write down every single task, worry, and obligation bouncing around your skull. Just externalize. Now, the magic of the single priority rule. From that entire list, circle one task, just one. This is your domino task. The thing that, once completed, makes everything else easier or irrelevant. The rest, they're not gone. They're just not today's priority. This works because anxious brains need explicit permission to ignore things. When everything lives in your head competing for attention, nothing gets done. System number 2, time blocking with buffer zones. Flexible schedules are kryptonite for anxious minds. Without structure, every moment becomes a decision point, and decisions drain anxious brains faster than actual work. Time blocking assigns specific tasks to specific time slots. Your calendar becomes your external brain, eliminating hundreds of micro decisions daily. But here's the crucial adaptation. Use buffer zones. Block in 90-minute focus sessions with 30-minute buffer zones between them. Those buffers absorb the unpredictable, handle interruptions, and give you mental space to transition. The buffers aren't wasted time, they're pressure release valves that prevent your entire day from derailing when reality doesn't match your plan. System number 3, the done list over to-do list. To-do lists are anxiety fuel. They never end. You cross off 3 items, add 5 more, and finish the day feeling behind despite working non-stop. Flip the script with a done list. At the end of each day, write down everything you actually accomplished. Not what you planned to do, but what you did. Answered 12 emails, finished the report draft, made dinner. This rewires your brain's negativity bias. Anxious minds obsess over undone tasks and dismiss completed ones as not enough. The done list forces you to acknowledge progress. Research shows that tracking accomplishments significantly reduces anxiety and increases motivation compared to tracking incomplete tasks. System number 4, digital tools that reduce cognitive load. Your anxious brain shouldn't waste energy remembering things. That's what technology is for. Use a task management app like Todoist or Notion Every task goes in immediately. If it's in your head, it's taking up mental bandwidth. Set up email filters. Seeing 847 unread emails triggers anxiety spirals. Automation sorts mail so you're not manually triaging constantly. Use calendar blocking tools that automatically schedule tasks. Fewer decisions means less anxiety and more execution. Enable do not disturb schedules. Notifications are anxiety accelerants. The principle: offload remembering, deciding, and organizing to systems. Reserve your mental energy for creating and solving. System number 5, the weekly reset ritual. Anxious minds spiral when chaos accumulates. The antidote: a weekly reset that restores order before overwhelm sets in. Every Sunday or Monday, spend 30 minutes. Review the past week. Plan the upcoming week. Identify your 3 most important outcomes. Clean your workspace. Physical and digital clutter creates mental clutter. Check your calendar. Know what's coming, so there are no surprise stressors. This isn't busy work. It's preventive maintenance for your mental health. Anxiety thrives in uncertainty and chaos. The weekly reset creates predictability and control. Which of these systems are you going to implement first? Drop a comment and let me know. Productivity for anxious minds isn't about hustling harder or forcing focus. It's about building external systems that handle the mental load your brain can't carry. Brain dump and single priorities eliminate decision paralysis. Time blocking with buffers creates structure without rigidity. Done lists celebrate progress. Digital tools offload cognitive load. Weekly resets prevent chaos from accumulating. Your anxious brain can be incredibly productive. It just needs the right structure to channel all that mental energy into focused action. Start with one system. Tomorrow, just one. Build from there.
If this made you see something familiar in a completely new way, hit subscribe.
There's a tiny bit more where this came from.
Once you start seeing, you can't unsee.
See you in the next video.